Hey, good evening, folks. I'm a bit under the weather. Sorry about my nasaliness, sniffles. I wanted to make a video about Tim Pool's van down by the river for anyone who. Well, let me just first start off by saying I think Tim Pool's a smart guy for the most part. I don't agree with him about everything, but I agree with him about a lot of things. I think he's a decent guy. Is he perfect? No. Is he like the moral? Is he Marcus Aurelius? No. But I think generally Tim Pool's a decent guy, above average intelligence, and he does a good job doing what he does. Anybody who's watched him, a a handful of episodes has heard him talk about he wouldn't mind just going and living in a van down by the river, and seems to think that that's like a thing that you can do, and it's just not. There's places where you could get away with that, but they're going to be in, you know, very rural areas where there's no way to make money, uh, and the locals might, come down and see what you got and take it all and kill you and bury you because there ain't no Wi-Fi for anybody to be tracked. You can't hide. It's impossible now. Not 100% completely impossible, but you have to be like a Navy SEAL. You have to spend a lot of money on the right clothing and gear. You have to be able to evade infrared and heat sensing cameras and night vision all at the same time. You got to bury your pee. You got to dig a hole, pee in it, and then cover it up. Or else the infrared is going to pick it up. You can't hide anymore. Unless you're so far out that nobody's looking for you and you ain't got access to anything. I mean, there's places you could go, but even then, you can't be walking around unless you're infrared negative. You have to like cover up most of your heat signature and stay underneath a forested canopy. You have to leave no trails, which is pretty hard to do as someone who's lived outside his whole life. It's very, very difficult to do. There's cameras everywhere. People can smell fires from a dozen miles away these days. They're so not used to it. You might be able to get away with going and living down by a river for a week in some places. In some extremely poor areas that aren't policed or whatever, or because they're highly polluted or nobody cares, is there a place in Mississippi you can go live in a van down by the river? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't been all over Mississippi. I've been there. Maybe. But it's pretty unlikely. The likelihood is you go live by a river anywhere in America and you're going to get a visit from the police and they're going to tell you to move along. You might have an hour or you might have a week. You might have 2 weeks if you're in a national forest. Anything longer than that, though, you're going to get run out. They got drones now and everything else. And, one thing I have to say about Tim, which I don't think he realizes, either that or he does and he just doesn't care, I don't know. But, he has been, he doesn't understand homelessness as much as he thinks he does. He volunteered at a homeless shelter in Chicago for like 2 months and thinks he's got it all figured out. Bro, you don't. Not at all. And he also conflates homelessness with drug addicts and the mentally ill, which what that's doing is it's pushing politicians to do more to outlaw homelessness. But they're not just talking about the fentanyl addicts building shanty towns downtown that are pooping on the sidewalk and shooting up dope in front of your kids. They're talking about people like me. That's who the laws are going to go against. People like me trying to get to the edge of society, go camping, enjoy a nice little spot away from everybody. It's going to be the people in the van down by the river. That's going to be criminalized because people like Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro and all the rest of the, quote unquote right have been okay with conflating drug addiction, mental illness, and homelessness, even though they have nothing to do with each other, really, in all reality. There's plenty of people in houses that are addicts, a lot more than there are on the streets. I would just say for everybody out there, you can do what you want. I'm nobody's daddy. I'm nobody's boss. But I would recommend, if you believe in what this country really stands for and you really believe in justice and human dignity, you need to separate out the fentanyl addicts and the mentally ill from people who are sleeping outside while poor. They're two different things. I'd like for people to be able to go live in a van down by the river, as long as they act right. But conflating incongruent things is not going to lead to that. It's going to lead to a thing where, everybody has to get in line or else. Work 90 hours a week to pay all your bills so the government can steal 90% of it and waste it and steal it so they can get all rich. And you just get to pay for it and stay in your cardboard box. Stay in your Chinese drywall house, watching the boob tube and thinking about how free you are. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'd love a like, share this, subscribe if you haven't. I'd love to get comments, suggestions for videos, questions. Go ahead and make fun of me, whatever you want to do down there. If it's not illegal, I won't delete it. I appreciate it. I'll put a Cash App in the description as well. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. God bless.